everybody. Welcome back to Inverted Reality.
Hey.
I'm Jake, along with my co-host James over here.
Hey guys.
This is our Ubisoft E3 conference recap.
Curious, you pronounce it Ubisoft or Ubisoft?
I say Ubisoft.
I always say Ubisoft too. I just always been curious.
Yeah. I heard it pronounced those two different ways during the conference.
Well, because
Some people
they
said
all have...
Ubisoft. The CEO said Ubisoft, but he also has the accent.
Whoa, his accent was heavy.
Thick accent.
Man.
And then other people in it said Ubisoft, because I just think I've grown up calling it Ubisoft.
Yeah.
And everybody I listen to on podcasts says Ubisoft.
I'm just curious. If you guys have an opinion, let us know below.
Drop in the comments
These
below.
are the important things we want to hear from you about.
Excuse me. A bunch of different games we saw at Ubisoft.
I'm
today.
already, regardless of what games they showed, I expected maybe 5 or 6 games, and they showed us a ton.
We saw several.
I was surprised. Not all the games are worth showing, but they showed them nonetheless.
No, but they are
And that
all
was good.
Ubisoft, and what Ubisoft is good at is like hype trailers.
I almost decided to pass on watching the conference because I was so, I just didn't care what Ubisoft was doing. And then, hype trailers, like you
Talk
said.
about a company that drops some good looking trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, in the past, that's all they've done.
Right?
You drop good looking trailers and give you disappointing games, but
Look at you, Watch Dogs 1.
Let's hope this is a turning point.
Right?
And to start off our turning point, we
Yes.
get Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Ooh.
Did you play any of the Rabbids games?
Nope, never did.
I did. I played Raymed's Raving Rabbids,
Okay.
which was hilarious. The Rabbids games
Yeah.
are really funny.
Okay.
So I was kind of excited for it. They brought out Shigeru Miyamoto,
Mm-hmm.
which is always cool to see him because he's always just so happy to be
He
talking
is.
about video games.
He's so
You
excited.
can tell
I
just
love it.
a guy that has a passion for video games, and it's no wonder he created these amazing things.
I was going to say, if people don't know who he is, what is he?
He is the creator of Mario
Boom.
and Zelda.
No big deal. Just a couple
So-
small franchises.
You may have heard of them before.
Yeah.
But-
There was one weird part, and
One.
from this portion. I love having him up there, and I love being able to have him speak natively because he tried a little bit of English and just wasn't good.
Yeah, he spoke English when
It was really rough.
he did the Apple conference a couple years ago.
Yeah,
And it was all English. And
it was rough.
unfortunately, it was not as much speaking.
So it was cool, but then you have his dialogue, you have the translator, then you have the awkward CEO that doesn't know how to talk to people, and it just kept going like that. It was weird and it was too long. And
what was weird, it wasn't like
felt forced.
Yeah, what I would imagine you would see at other conferences is like, oh, here comes Miyamoto, and he comes up and like, we have partnered with Miyamoto to make this game, and here's what it looks like, and here's why we're so excited, and blah 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 blah, PR speak, whatever buzzwords. What this kind of felt like was the boss of Ubisoft talking to Miyamoto and saying, thank you so much for blessing us the opportunity to use the Mario IP. We know you won't be disappointed. It was like a kid that just got granted the car for the weekend,
Yeah,
is what it felt like.
That's true.
And maybe that was planned, maybe it wasn't, maybe that wasn't what it was supposed to feel like.
felt weird.
That's certainly what it did feel like. And so like they brought out replicas of the guns, and Miyamoto's holding one, and he gives the other guy one, and they did some planned poses. And then he's like,
It was super
these don't work
adorable.
great here, but I bet you they work great in Mario plus Rabbids. And then weird silence while they handed off
It
guns.
was super adorable
It
at
was funny.
first.
Yeah.
But so that was weird. But we get outside of that, you go to the gameplay, and I had no idea what to expect. And I don't think anyone really knew what to expect here because Mario and Rabbids, what's the first thing you think of? It's definitely not turn-based RPG combat.
No.
What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So you see them kind of running around with the characters following this little disc-looking thing with ears.
So I'd imagine that's the part you're actually controlling.
Yeah.
You control the disc and they
I
follow
assume
it.
so. And so you're like, okay, what is this? Like it's you've got Mario and then you've got Rabbids behind him, but they look like Luigi and Peach, and so you're a little confused. And then it jumps in and it's a turn-based tactical adventure game. It's an XCOM,
Yeah.
right? It's
You have a movement area when you start, so you walk through these two flags.
Mhm.
They're like the flags at the end of Mario levels, so they're black and have the skull and crossbones on them.
right.
You walk through them, you've entered a combat area. So then it pulls the person, you have a movement area, and then you move, and then you can do your move. So you can jump on characters to get further. There's pipes the rabbits can go in to go behind for tactical moves.
Yep.
It's a tactical turn-based.
Yeah, it was interesting
combat
because
system.
a lot of times when you see it, and maybe I just didn't quite look at this right, but you have your movement and then you're done, right? This was like you could move and then you could still attack from it, right? Some of the other games, like you would move and use all of your points for it.
Yeah.
This
You
one
had a
you
certain amount of
move
moves.
and then you could do your move.
Yeah, it's not a tile-based combat game. So that's where the main difference is.
I like
Where
it.
isn't XCOM tile? based.
Yeah, it is.
So you played them before, where you're like, here's a number of moves, and your attacks count as moves, and your movement counts as moves, and your mistakes count as moves.
Like ability
So
points is usually how it comes out as.
I want to walk forward 3 tiles. I have 1 move left, and I can attack with it. Well, I needed 2 points to attack with this attack, whatever. This is not that. You move just to somewhere in the area, and if you do the jump, your area gets bigger.
Yep.
So it looks kind of cool. I am honestly at first always turned off by turn-based combat.
Me too.
I never
I agree.
enjoy it. It's kind of just okay. This looks like it's worth giving a shot. It is exclusive to Switch because it's Mario.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually because I feel the same way. And then I saw it. The intro level was very intro based, but there's already like tons of variations on the theme that you don't normally see, right?
Yeah.
You have the interaction between the people you have on your side, and you have the cute, adorable Mario Rabbids style. And then they go from like the demo of it basically to the actual like gameplay trailer for the different things. And I was impressed. I was blown away, like the creativity you have, the different environments, the different characters. I saw glimpses of, you got Luigi, Mario, Peach, Yoshi. You got rabid people that look like them as well. And then right at the end, they showed you a Rabid DK. Right, he had the Donkey Kong
giant
guy,
rabbit runs
giant
in with
rabbit.
Donkey Kong.
That's awesome. So my assumption is like, well, there's probably going to be a regular DK in there too at some point. That's what I would think. The release date is what surprised me. August 29th. We're 2 months away.
Yeah.
There had been rumors about a Mario and Rabbids thing, but no one was thinking turn-based XCOM kind of thing. I like the spin on it. I like the art style. I love the art style. It's gorgeous.
Great.
For something that seems so well executed, which is kind of surprising coming from Ubisoft. I wonder why Nintendo picked Ubisoft, because they're typically fraught with delays and technical issues and things like that. So why trust to them? I don't know. But when I first saw the turn-based, I was immediately turned off. And after watching like the 3 or 4 minute trailer, I'm sold. I'm going to buy it. And that's all it takes for me.
Do you think it'll be $60? Or is this a $40 or $50?
I mean, Switch prices have been varied, which has been surprising to me. There hasn't been a lot of $60 titles. I could see this going for $40, but
kind of hope it does.
I think with Mario, it's still going to go 60.
That's kind of what
but
sucks
I'm still
about
gonna buy it.
Yeah, so I see it, and I'm kind of like, turn-based combat, all this stuff is like, is that worth $60 to me?
Depends on how much content. Are we talking 7 hours of content? Are we talking 20 hours? Like, what's the replayability?
Yeah,
that kind of thing. I love it. The UI looks gorgeous. Animations and art style is very pretty. Using the pipes, I'm sure there's a ton of other features that they didn't show us here today. But color me sold.
Yep, looks cool. We'll get it, and hopefully by then we can do Let's Plays in it. Next up, Assassin's Creed Origins. We've seen, we saw just a little bit more of. They mentioned it's the 10-year anniversary of Assassin's Creed.
Yep, I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Because I don't play Assassin's Creed.
Yep. This team's been working on this game since the release of Black Flag.
Yeah. So it's nice to know they're not the annual team.
Yep. There's multiple different teams, I'm sure, that work on stuff, and they just kind of
similar to Call of Duty, has different developers for different games.
Similar to Call of Duty, but just the same. They work under the same thing.
Yep.
We saw the in-game footage recorded at 4K.
Not a huge surprise. We really didn't see a lot of footage. We saw a trailer for it. There was a weird one where they did the same thing at EA's conference, right, for some of the other games. But so they went out to a different location
behind the studio.
And then they showed like a guy playing the game. Oh, that's cool, right? No, they're going to film the camera on the monitor.
You're so stupid. And I realized like it's a teaser. It's supposed to be like, it was a short 30-second piece, but they did 30 minutes of gameplay after the conference. And they showed that guy, they showed his capture on the screen, and they did picture-in-picture of all the different, multicam stuff up here. Like, why couldn't you do that for this part?
Yeah.
It's 30 seconds. I know you have the capability. I know it's there. Like, why are we watching a monitor in the sun?
Yeah, it was a weird decision. Game looks cool.
Environments look phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty. It doesn't really seem that much different than other Assassin's Creed. I didn't watch the 30-minute gameplay afterwards because
I didn't watch all of it.
Yeah,
because it was kind of showing typical Assassin's Creed stuff.
Right,
you
Assassin's
take over
Creed.
bases and whatnot.
Nothing real crazy.
In the footage we saw, see things maybe chariot racing. Looks like it could be a thing.
Okay.
Animals in the world look like they might be a threat.
And we haven't had that before at all.
No, I think maybe in 3. And in 4, like there was sharks in 4 in Black Flag.
Yeah.
But just like so many of the Assassin's Creed games have taken place in cities.
Yeah.
So like Syndicate's in London, the Ezio trilogies in Italy, and then the first ones in like the Crusade era, and you're in the cities. So you never have animals, and this one is showing you like crocodiles in the Nile.
Which I would hope so, because of how wide open. Egypt was not exactly known for its monolithic cities.
Yeah. There's some underwater elements. Look like they brought in some of the same stuff from Black Flag.
Okay.
It also looks like he was riding a camel.
Yeah, I mean,
during the trailer, so it's like cool. We can ride camels
because he definitely
we can
started.
also ride horses.
Yeah. So release date still October 27th. That hasn't changed in the last day, so that's nice, I guess.
Yep.
So
I watched some of the gameplay demo. Camps are just like they're military locations. Their bases take over. They have a boss. A lot of them are involved with quests. Levels matter. Gear matters. So they were talking about looks like 4 levels is considered a big gap.
Okay.
So they did one where he was level 20 and some of the enemies were 21. So it's like, yeah, they took a little bit longer, but he leveled up to 21. It was obviously planned. That's where he was supposed to land.
Yeah.
And so then he went and took on a level 25 base. And the difference was incredible.
Which is good. That's what it should be.
Which is good. So you got to like grind and level up. So you walk in, like he shoots a guy in the head with an arrow. Guy takes a little bit of damage. And then he works on it. Another guy shows up and he dies. That's just how it went. You can light arrows on fire like you do in Zelda. Okay. So you walk up, pull it out, light it, shoot it.
Yeah.
Weapons can have different properties. You can use melee weapons underwater. So he fought a hippo. He swam up to a hippo. And he hit it, and then he could fight it underwater because this guy can hold his breath forever. But that was just a little bit of the gameplay that I watched.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see as it gets closer. Probably check it out. But I don't know. I'm interested in the setting. Next up, The Crew 2.
Yeah.
Knew this was coming. You know, it was one of their titles. It was a good game. It was popular. It had some launch issues, but people liked it for what it was. It was a good driving game. But it was a driving game. Had a story behind it. Open world, going across the USA, driving game. And then they show the trailer, and they start with street driving. And you're like, okay, so it's more of the same. And then he jumped into motocross and rally cars. Yeah. Like just smooth transition.
It's like desert dune
and you're like,
trucks.
okay, so it's like 2 different phases of driving. And then he moved to a plane, and the plane was flying places. And then he moved to like sim style cars, like driving, like racing, like Gran Turismo style. And then it moved to speedboats on the water. And then it moved to Indy cars because we needed another thing. And it wraps up, and it comes in this like final screenshot, right, where it shows like the release information. And it was just this guy standing with like 10 different kinds of transportation.
Yeah.
Blew me away. I did not expect that. I don't even know if I want that, but it was really cool that all those options are there.
Yeah. I think it's cool. The trailer was really well structured. You like see the things in the horizon that the planes are flying to. It was set up very Inception-like in that way.
Yeah.
But I think it's really fun. I might get this game. I don't know if I'll get it at launch. This might be one of those things that comes out and I get it eventually when it's on sale.
I want to see more what people think about it. Yeah. It had King of All Motorsports was a headline on a magazine. Just all things motorized, home of Motor Nation was he talking about. One thing that was really odd to me, there was a trailer in there where it was like the 4 like vertical slices of game, right? Yep. No music at all.
Yeah, it was just like 14 different game styles.
Engine noise. And just all the engines kind of sounded similar, and it was weird and awkward, and it felt wrong because the other trailers, like the bookends for it, had music. This one didn't. Felt weird, and my wife was like, well, maybe they just have it like to give you the idea of what the engine sounds like. I'm like, yeah, but why do they all sound the same?
Yeah.
So
it was weird, but we had released it in early 2018. So your baby's still crying.
It sounds like he might be.
I hear other movement that's not him. So
yeah. All right, so that's The Crew.
Next,
excited.
South Park, The Fractured But Whole.
Yes. Sequel to Stick of Truth. If you, it's South Park. I mean, if you ever watched the TV show, it's the same thing, but in a game, RPG style. They're trying to make like a fake, like superhero, like cinematic universe, similar to like Marvel and DC style stuff. October 17th. If you played Stick of Truth, you know what you're getting into. It's gonna be nasty and gross. They've revamped
the combat system a little bit.
Yeah, still turn-based.
Yeah, still turn-based, but it's supposed to be a little bit. You can move your characters around inside the combat. Little changes. Next up, we had a VR game, Transference. Elijah Wood is
creative
director.
This is weird.
It was one of those things. Like I saw it, and then I watched this trailer. I was like, "Is he actually the creative director, or is that just part of the game?"
I think he is.
Pretty sure he's actually the creative director,
which is cool.
It's one of those things like they showed. It's like you get to watch this person's consciousness. Back again. Looks like it's supposed to be like thriller-ish.
I think so.
I think it looks like one of those things. My initial thought is it's a virtual reality experience, not necessarily a virtual reality game. Like the game just happens at you, and you sit there and look at it and just get immersed in the world a little bit.
Yeah, it was interesting, but nothing. We didn't see a lot of gameplay. No. It was mostly just like proof of concept. So
it was all the people talking.
I know.
Next, we saw Skull and Bones,
Mhm.
made by one of the teams that worked on Black Flag. So you're just in the ships all in the water. My initial thought was like it's a Sea of Thieves kind of more realistic looking though, less cartoony.
You could tell that when you looked at this, they had Assassin's Creed Black Flag in mind.
Very much so. Like you look at the way the guns shoot, you look at the way you travel in the water, you hear the songs they're singing.
Yeah.
There's like, okay, this is the ship part of Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yep.
And that's it. You go in and you look for treasure and get into battles, and there's multiplayer. I think it's super cool.
I mean, it's a really cool concept. They showed us footage from a 5v5 PvP mode.
Yep.
Called Loot Hunt, which is what was actually playable at E3. How much of this is? They said you could do it single or multiplayer. Is there a story to it? Is there what is there combat? My question is, do you get off the boat? Because everything they showed us, right, is like to pick up loot, you would blow up ships and then drive over where their ships were, and to board a boat, it looked like you hit a button and then an animation would play. It wouldn't necessarily have you walking around on the boat.
Yeah.
And we didn't see any like first person or third person, you controlling your character not in front of the wheel. So how much of you is behind the wheel and how much of it was just like that's what they wanted to show this time?
Yeah.
That's my
It
biggest
looks like
concern with
the
it.
single player. It looks like there's a single player portion of the game where you kind of climb the leaderboard
Yeah.
kind of thing. Fight against legendary pirates from all eras of pirate history.
Right.
There's that kind of thing, and then the PvP mode was what you were talking about. Whoever has the most loot at the end wins, not whoever sinks everybody else's ships.
Right.
But so you go and get the loot. There's different warship classes. There's a frigate, which is kind of like your tank.
Mm-hmm.
It's got 2 rows of guns. It's got the most armor.
Yep.
Assumedly, it's the slowest and least agile.
Mhm.
The brigantine is like your striker.
Yeah.
So it's got a big nose in the front of it, and you run it into other ships. Sloop of War is like your sniper. So it shoots mortars. You sit far away and play with this one.
Yeah.
You don't run in the middle of it with this particular ship.
It's a small ship too.
Yep. UI for the cannons are kind of sweet.
Yeah.
They rolled up on what I'm pretty sure is the frigate, and it had 2 lines of circles. Top row guns, bottom row guns.
Mhm.
Shoot the top row. All these go dark. These now light up. Shoot it. Those go dark.
Yep.
Now these light up because they were reloaded.
It's really cool.
It
The
looks
way that
really
they
cool.
showed the animations for how you shoot stuff and how you do things, it looked really interesting to me. If you guys want to check out the trailer below, it's in the link dump here. I'm interested, but if it is only naval combat and you don't get off your boat and everything you do is driving that boat, sitting behind the wheel, it just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
Like I want it. I'm okay with it being based around naval combat, but if you can't physically get up and walk around and the only thing you ever control is the boat, I don't know.
I
if
would
I'm
think
down
at
with
least
that.
in the single player, you're able to get off the boat and fight the other ships full of people. Maybe not in PvP.
Yeah.
Even when they showed them boarding another ship, I don't know if that was a computer ship or if that was a PvP ship or like another player's ship.
I don't know.
So they weren't
That's
really super
weird.
clear on it. At the end of the mode, like these pirate hunters come out. They escape me. Man of Wars.
There you go.
They come out. They're super hard to beat, and so
You just run.
yeah, you run. If you're high enough leveled, you can take them on. But you can sign up to play early. SkullandBonesGame.com. They showed at the end there's a kraken out in the sea. They showed them all celebrating, and then all of a sudden the ship goes under and then pops back up. And then they go to like a big top view, and you see this giant monster under the sea. So
Yeah.
your threat is not only just other players or ships
No.
in the game; it's also the animals in the water. It comes fall of 2018.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But I want to see more. If this is all it is, then it's probably not my thing. It's a good play for 5 hours and then I'm done.
Yep.
It's not a $60 game for me.
Yes, that's for that. I'm not intrigued at $60.
Nope.
I'm intrigued at 40 maybe.
Yeah.
So
And
I
it
think it's
just-
got to be less than $40
I need
or
to see
a lot of gameplay.
replayability and stuff like that.
So PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Yep.
Next we saw Just Dance 2018. Pretty standard.
It's a
People
weird-
came out and danced.
Weird presentation. I thought
Yeah.
it was gonna be like a 30-second like dancing and up like a 4-minute episodic transition of a bunch of crap.
Bunch of weird dances.
Weird.
So
I mean, my
whatever.
wife liked it. I didn't. I thought it was dumb
Yeah,
and a
so
waste
did
of
I.
time. But
No.
that's Ubisoft.
We're not Just Dance
not
people. So October this year, Just Dance 2018.
Not just like main consoles, all consoles. It was like PS3 and Wii U and the Switch and Xbox Pro and just shut up.
Let's be honest. If you're still playing your PS3 and your Xbox 360 and your Wii U, you probably played Just Dance. South Park Phone Destroyer mobile game. Not super interested in it. Comes out 2017. Whatever.
Weird.
Starlink Battle for Atlas. Blah, blah, blah. Starlink Battle for Atlas. Build on. This looked kind of cool. had the attachment you put on the controller,
Yeah.
and then you physically build the ship
Mm-hmm.
on the controller, and it changes in the game. So it's kind of like Lego Dimensions in that way, where you put the characters on the portal,
Yeah.
and they drop it in the game.
Yeah.
Like this, you build the ship. So you're coming up on something like, oh, I need a different ship. Pull the parts off, drop the parts on. I need new armor, different weapons.
Be cool.
Looks super cool.
So I'm curious, like, because they obviously there's like that building and customizing ships. You fight people in space, aliens on different planets, good first person stuff or first player, single player stuff.
Yep.
Releases fall 2018. You're controlling a team of star pilots in a living world filled with planets and life and aliens and all kinds of stuff. He said that it's also going to have digital versions, outside of just physical ones. I'm curious. It's like how much of these accessories are going to be. This looks like something akin to Skylanders or the Infinity games, or like you said,
it's going to be like $100 to get in because
Dimensions.
you need the controller accessory and a starter pack.
Yeah,
And like every expansion they really like Lego Dimensions is like the perfect example of this. Like
it is
the first
because you build a
game
bunch of
and
stuff.
was like $80, but they got you the Portal, the initial game, in like one expansion or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the characters, all the stuff you can build, and then every game after that's like $20 or $40, I think.
Yeah, Lego Dimensions gives you a little bit more customization than Skylanders did. We had Skylanders; it was a fun game, it's cool. Drop in, but just kept adding stuff and became an annual release, and it was just tired.
Yeah.
So interested. I don't know if it's something I'd buy, but I
it
like
definitely
the
appeals
concept.
to the collector nature of
Having
things.
I'm trying to picture like having like that big ship on my controller while
I
I'm
was
playing.
trying to
That
picture,
almost
like,
feels a little distracting.
Is it super motion control based, or is it like stick? Can you do
Yeah,
stick
I don't
based?
know how much.
Because the first thing popped up is still on the Switch. I was like, oh, you have the ship right there, connects over to the middle of the controller because you don't use that. There's nothing on the middle of the Switch controller.
and they showed it on other
And they
consoles.
showed it on
I'm
the
like,
PS4 controller. I was like, oh. It was like motion, like if it's on the Switch, like purely motion controlled because it's right there. It makes sense for it to be that way, but we'll see. Next we saw Steep Road to the Olympics, so DLC for Steep. Neither one of us play Steep. I did. It was super hard and not fun for me.
Yeah, it's cool that they have an officially licensed product for Winter Olympics 2018, and it's an already existing game that's got an install base. We're not just having like Mario and Sonic go to the Olympics or whatever crap that was. So that's kind of cool. It gives a better established player base for something like the Olympics.
Yep.
Cool.
So you could do a bunch of Olympic competitions.
I didn't like Steep. It's not a game for me. It's hard and it wasn't fun.
It's really hard. I watched Let's Plays of it and I watched guys play. I was like, that looks kind of fun. And then there was like a free weekend or whatever. I played. I was like, forget about it. I don't
I
like
died
this
like
game.
5 times in the opening tutorial. I'm like, this isn't for James.
I jumped into the helicopter and I was like, I don't know what to do now.
I think I died jumping out of the helicopter.
Just
I
ran
was
into the
like, this
blades.
isn't my thing. I
I don't
can't
know
do
why
it.
you let me jump on the helicopter upside down, but that's some bull crap. Anyway, December 5th is when that launches, so keep an eye out for that if you're a Steep fan.
It's a really long. It feels like a long way away. Maybe
makes
it's just
sense.
like saying October versus saying December. Like it just feels like a huge time
Winter
gap.
Olympics.
It makes sense.
It makes the most sense.
They said December. I'm like, oh,
Early
that's
December.
forever away.
I know. Next we saw Far Cry 5. You all right?
Sorry, I was drinking, and
Look
then
at you
I
ready to do a spit take.
like
I was
missed.
not on my computer, please.
There wasn't enough left in my cup, and so I missed a bit. Far Cry 5, we are in Hope County, Montana. We knew that already. That had been told to us. Opens like with people in a church singing Amazing Grace, holding guns in the air. Super weird, creepy. Didn't look like a scary kind of thing.
Nope,
I'm
looks
sure
like
there
more
will be
Far
like
Cry.
creepy elements. This is
In a
Far
good
Cry. Fanatic cult running the county, set in modern day times. He said there's no cell phone signal or anything like that, so I would assume it's pretty close.
I mean, you always
to,
got to do that with games set in modern day. Like, all right, how do you negate
but it is
cell phone usage?
that's the important thing. I
Yep.
was curious if it was going to be in the 70s or if it was now. So it is now, roughly.
Yeah.
But he said there was no cell phone signal, and basically you and your mercenaries have to figure out a way to take the town back or take the county back.
It popped up. One of the things they said, like you and your team of players, or I wrote it down. You and your guns for hire.
There you go.
So I was like, okay, so like you have a team. Does that mean you have a team in the game, or does that mean you bring in your friends and play online? Turns out it's both.
It's both. So you've got an NPC sniper. It was cool. You pointed to her where to go.
Grace Armstrong.
There you go. Grace Armstrong. I didn't write the names down.
I did.
You had a pilot that came in.
Nick Rye.
Yeah, with a bunch of bombs, blew stuff up. He had like a bi-wing plane came in on,
Yeah.
super old school,
Little skipper.
fertilizer
It was
looking
awesome.
thing. And then you had co-op friends coming in a
Also
semi
the
truck.
dog.
So the way that
Boomer the dog.
oh yeah, Boomer the dog.
He runs up and like grabs their weapons out of their hands and like brings them to you.
He murders people and
It
brings you
was
their
awesome.
weapons.
It's like, oh dude.
Super happy dog. This was super intriguing because you come in and when the gameplay takes over, he's like overlooking like basically a public execution because this is a crazy fanatic
Crazy
cult.
people, yeah.
And so he like puts a sniper up in the tower and he starts to descend down into it. You're like, okay, so this is gonna be like a stealth gameplay, right? And then it was just like gunplay everywhere, and like she like took out the lead guy, and then you just went bananas on everybody else, and then you had your bombing run come in, you had a semi truck come in, and then it was just like crazy music that totally didn't fit the first part of the trailer. It was awesome. It looks fun. I've never been a Far Cry guy, but the story kind of is attractive to me. Showed you a bunch of like actual gunplay, first person style. Looks like Far Cry. There's nothing really new about it. Driving multiple kinds of vehicles. You can fly.
Try like flying the plane.
I think you can fly stuff before, right? Is that the...
Yeah, you can fly stuff before, but in Far Cry 4 at least, the thing you flew was this kind of the ultralight version of a helicopter. So you hop in, fly up, roll around. There was no weapons on it. You had your pistol, which you could use. So in this, you have the gun that's mounted to the plane that you can like fly in and do, strafing runs of it, which is pretty cool. They showed you driving a tractor with apparently what is a murder attachment on the front of it. Like it just showed him like running up on a tractor, and then it just shows the front of it spinning around, and all of a sudden dead people everywhere.
It was
like, this is awesome.
It was like the only like there was some graphic parts, but that just was like a huge bump, and then went back to like normal level of violence.
Yep,
looked awesome. I am perfectly excited for it. The release we got it.
They've given us a release date.
We already have a release date. Let me grab it real quick. But so, are you pretty interested in something like Far Cry 5?
I'm 100% interested in Far Cry 5.
Okay.
I played Far Cry 4 and I loved it. It was the first Far Cry I played. I know some people were pretty played out on Far Cry, as it were. By the time 4 rolled around, and Wildlands was pretty much a reskin of 4.
I mean, they've given a little bit of a break for it. It's February 27th, 2018.
Right on.
So still a little ways away.
So I'll probably get it.
Yeah.
Day one.
I'll check it out. Yeah. It looks fun. I'd like to see more, but it's cool that it's set in America. We haven't had one of those. Yeah. The other ones have all been set in fictional foreign countries, right? No. They've been fictional.
They're real.
Okay, they're real.
The next and last game we saw from Ubisoft is Beyond Good and Evil 2. This has been in the making for almost 15 years.
Yep. First game was
quite a bit.
2003, and it's the producer that did this one is the guy that behind Rayman. The first game for this was a commercial failure, but critically acclaimed. Everybody loved it. There's a cult following behind it, and they came out on stage. Well, they showed the trailer off first.
Yep.
And it was like a talking monkey, and he had a
really good looking
really
monkey.
Thick accent, and he was talking to like a huge pig
that kind of sounded like Idris Elba.
And then there was a really pretty lady next to him, so you know that it's just got.
He's a bad guy and he's got a lot of money.
Yeah, he's got a bad guy, but so you have animals and you have humans. They're all like just kind of the same creatures or same levels.
They're set up as hybrids. The animals are set up as hybrids, and isn't that right?
That sounds right.
I wrote it down. The corporations create these hybrid animal things to be like slaves and work for.
There you go. And so it was a really cool demo. Obviously, it was probably all cinematic, but police chasing. It was a very futuristic time frame. We're talking like 400 years in the future.
Yeah. Flying cars and whatnot.
Police chasing them. They're blowing up police vehicles. They take this thing that they got back to their home base, and they get in this much bigger ship and go off to light speed and see something that they want. And just the art style looked really cool in the trailer. No release date that I saw. They really didn't have much to say about it. The guy came out on stage for it, and he was practically just like weeping with joy because it's finally happened. I mean, there's been questions about this for a long time. I was looking up articles, even back as 2014, they were talking about like possibly developing this, and that no one was confirming anything, and it didn't get confirmed until last year.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome that it came out. I had no idea it was going to come. Maybe if you follow these games more, you would know. But I'm interested. I want to see more.
I am too.
But that's what it is.
Yeah, we'll see when it comes out. So there wasn't a whole lot to go on for those of us that aren't in the Beyond Good and Evil fan community. But it looks cool. So
for sure,
look forward to seeing more of it. That was the end of the conference. They brought what I'm assuming is the Beyond Good and Evil team up on stage.
They brought the teams for all the games.
All the other games. It was the ending was almost as awkward as the beginning. And it was just a strange way to book in the conference. But at the end of the day, what do you think of the conference? I
was pleasantly surprised. I feel like we're always optimistic people in these kind of things when we're looking at stuff. I saw like twice as many games as I expected to. I'll be completely honest. I expected Far Cry, and I expected The Crew and Assassin's Creed, and that was pretty much all I expected. Yeah, I thought they would just talk our ear off about Assassin's Creed, and they didn't. They showed us the same amount for that as they did everything else. And some of the games look good. Some of them don't apply to me. Yep. I think they did well. Their stage presence. Aisha Taylor not being there, was very obvious to me, and just we missed her. Having her there. Is that the right name?
Aisha Tyler.
That one, yeah.
Yep.
So we missed having her. She was a really good staple of the last few Ubisoft conferences. Her not being there, you don't have like this unifying person on stage when you're going to do as many stage, like, people bringing out. It's different, I know, for a developer as opposed to, somebody like Microsoft or Sony, just because you need to talk about the game because you don't have 30 games to show.
Yeah.
So I think it was good, but there were just some parts that were it was really chunky. The transitions weren't good in the conference itself. If we're talking about just games, like I was really impressed with a lot of the games. The crew
Agreed.
was impressive to me. Beyond Good and Evil 2 was good. Far Cry looks good, which we knew it would. Nothing there really stood out as weird. South Park's mobile game. I don't know why that needed an E3 trailer.
It's like dropped in the middle there one game after South Park was announced. So it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of weird, but whatever.
Yeah. So other than that, like just the stuff that was announced was good. Starlink looks like a cool thing. I don't know if we need another like collectible toy thing. It's far enough away that maybe
Especially
we'll
with
all kind of distance
thing.
ourselves from that. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I was impressed in certain areas. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think overall it was good. Like almost every conference we've seen at E3 this year so far, just like, all right, it was good. Didn't blow me away. Nothing really jumped out at me like, oh, it was amazing. And I'm sure if you're a Beyond Good and Evil fan, jumped out at you. If you're a big Steep fan or Far Cry fan or whatever. But we're not super fans of any of these things. So it's kind of like, yeah, it was a decent conference. Like 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
If we're putting numbers on things.
I'd say maybe like 6 out of 10.
Yeah. So good, not great. But that's going to wrap it up for our Ubisoft recap this year. If you're new to the channel, we do videos 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. 4 of those days are Let's Plays. 1 of those days is a podcast.
Yep. We've got we did a ton of E3 coverage. If you take a look on our page, we've got some Microsoft, we've got Sony, we've got EA, we've got Bethesda, we've got this one, which is now what you're watching. If you are looking for more stuff to it, we've got something coming out from Nintendo tomorrow.
Yep.
It's Nintendo. We're really excited for that. So be on the lookout for that. And then we're going to be doing some highlight videos of things that we really enjoyed. And then we're also looking to do a podcast with another friend of ours who we will talk about later.
Yep.
Just keep an eye out for more E3 content. Stay tuned at IR Games on Twitter for all of your E3 needs if you want to talk to us anyways.
Yep. Best way to stay up to date. Other good way, just hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it. And that'll let you know whenever we put up something new. But until then, thanks for hanging out, guys.
Bye.
Bye.